Hey Google, turn off. Hello. This is a requested video because you guys have been wanting to know this so much on Instagram. So I hope I do this justice, and I hope I can do it really, really quick and get straight to the point. And that is bright. Is that not bright enough? Hold up. Got a ring light, and I got a ring light. God, that does me just steady. We do not need any accidents today. Okay. This is weird. Today's video is a very much requested one because you lot all want to know about my training, which I completely understand. How people trained throughout HA, how people trained before, what the difference is now they've recovered, do we have to completely give up exercise, that kind of thing. Was a huge part in my mind. If anything, that was probably the one thing that I really wanted to know over the food thing. And I completely get it. I think it's potentially coming from a variety of types of people. Some people don't want to leave that fit girl behind, get that too. Some people are PT. I need to do a disclaimer that when I worked with Rini and with a professional, first of all, I did work with a professional. But secondly, I am a qualified personal trainer, so I feel like my knowledge around exercise now and how much research I've done into like female hormones and female strength training is very different now. So I would encourage education or working with a PT, me, and working with also a professional if you are going through HA. And thirdly, this is my journey, so for you it might be completely different. I don't know what your hormones are like, I don't know your background or your attitude towards exercising or anything like that. This whole channel, as I've said many times, is just me sharing my journey. I was never actually told to give up exercise when I was working with Rini, and I was really appreciative of that because I feel like Rini understands that exercise is not only, we should exercise, we should be encouraged to exercise in a sustainable approach and one that's good for us rather than bad for us, but also if you're coming from that kind of background, then exercise is such a huge part of us that actually telling us to stop completely is probably going to do us more harm than good and maybe make us progress a little bit and then go back 500 steps. So I was very grateful that I was never told to stop exercising. My background with it is that I'll start off pre-recovery. So I was on the pill, so I don't know how long I technically have had HA for, but I was a personal trainer and I very much use exercise as a way to kind of control my life, and I just loved it. I was doing HIIT 7 days a week. Some days I would do HIIT in the morning, go back and do some like strength-based HIIT, if you like, in the evenings. There was definitely probably about 2 years that I was going twice a day, 7 days a week. And I did not stop, and I had a real bad approach when it came to exercise. But what's really strange, right, is that as a personal trainer, I was able to program people's training programs really sustainably so that they were able to kind of keep it up and they were progressing. And I'm very proud of the programs that I wrote for people and everything that I was advising people to do. My best friend Zoe is a prime example of someone that really listened to me as a coach in terms of like making sure they were eating enough, really starting from the beginning, nailing the basic lifts before you progress onwards. And I remember writing that program and seeing her progress so quickly and thinking, why don't you do this yourself, Chloe? But that was obviously such a different mental state that I was in, that even though I could give that advice, I couldn't take that advice. So that was kind of my background before. Then I came off the pill and I continued. I dropped loads of weight. I split up with my ex, came off the pill, and just like I was the fit one and I just dived straight into it. But what I quickly realised was that actually after coming off the pill, I hadn't had my period, and I just started to become very aware of the amount of information coming to me around exercise and the pill and not having a period and exercise and athletes and the pill, that kind of thing. I've always been a bit of someone that always reads into science a little bit more, and if I have some kind of idea or twinge about something, I'd research into it a little bit more. So I started to come across that. Then I realised, okay, something had to change. So I actually didn't change anything with my training for about a year, I would say. I would just try to eat a little bit more, but I was very much in denial I think I kind of used it as a way to get attention looking back. It's like, oh, I don't have my period, I'm trying to get my period back, so I need to eat this, this, this. Oh, I can't do that because I need to get my period back. I look back and I think I probably used it as a way to kind of justify different things. Do you know what I mean? Then I realised, okay, something actually drastically has to change, and I started to go into gymnastics a little bit more. Now, gymnastics is still pretty strenuous on the body, but what I was doing was I was always exercising to burn calories, and going into gymnastics, I had a most incredible coach, Adonis, who my dad still trains with, my best friend Zoe still trains with, he's amazing. And it was like, now I was exercising for a skill and a purpose. There was definitely still part of me that exercised because I wanted to change my body, but there was, it kind of moved the, when you're doing gymnastics, you're not necessarily going to get huge amount of calorie burn that I would when I was running loads or I was doing loads of HIIT. So it was changing my focus, and that really helped me, because even though I was doing that way more than what my body was capable of or what I needed, and I was still under fueling, it kind of laid the foundations for those changes. Then because that filled up a lot of my time, gymnastics filled up a lot of my time, I reduced back all like the kind of strength HIIT sessions as well, and I started walking a little bit more. I think looking back, I just slowly started to make those changes, and then winter came and I still very much focused on gymnastics. Me and my best friend started training with Adonis together, so that was like, we just had so much fun on Friday sessions doing handstands and stuff. And then I had seen my best mate Zoe, and I thought, okay, I need to eat more here. I need to try and get my period back. So if I'm going to be eating more, how can I, and this was, please bear in mind, this was still I was trying to think logically of how to kind of suppress my evil thoughts, if you like. How can I eat more, but try to not be so scared about it? So I thought, I know, I will start lifting weights rather than HIIT, and I would tell myself that I was going through like a bulking stage. Now these are all just ways of how my mind worked, of I needed to try to tell the evil voices in my head that told me to eat less and move more, I need to try to reason with them. So that's how I did it. So I was able to eat more, and then I started to train weights. Sorry, I thought you were going to fall over. Then in the January, it was like a new year, and I freaked out about how much weight I gained, and I decided that I was going to get back into running. I started working with Rini. That's when my exercise actually really changed. Now, I wouldn't say that was out of choice. I'll put my hands up and say I was forced into that, because that's when lockdown happened. The first lockdown in the UK happened. And do you know what? And I've put a video about this before, but I'm actually really grateful for that lockdown. I completely understand that is not the case for everyone, but in my privileged circumstances, being forced into a lockdown felt like the universe's way of going, if you're not going to bloody listen to us, we'll force you to listen to us. So the gyms were shut. We were only allowed to leave the house for one. That's when I'd invested that money, and I thought, do you know what? I'm potentially not going to see people for a while. Now is the time to change. What other things have you really wanted to do for ages? And I've always been interested in yoga. I think it looks incredible. I think I've always been interested in yoga more from like the aesthetic point of view. I think it looks incredible, some of the moves. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing that. So I started to do my 1 walk a day. I also thought as well, I didn't really want to run, because then my 1 exercise a day would be over really quick. So I would walk, so then it lasted a bit longer, so I could be out in the fresh air a little bit longer. I actually decided to do the 100k in May, which I do think pushed me back a little bit. But so then when I worked with Rini was like, it's okay, don't worry about it. Like, it probably has pushed you back. You probably shouldn't be doing that intense exercise, but just keep fueling, just keep going. And then June, I really dialed it back, and I was doing yoga a little bit more. And then July, I had my period. So yes, 100% I dialed things back, but I think the main thing was that I was eating so much more to be able to fuel me. May, I freaked out. I'm going on a bit of a tangent, I need to sum this up. When I definitely gradually changed over the 2 years, definitely gradually changed to less intense exercise. Then when we went into lockdown, I did a lot more yoga, walking, and no HIIT. I think I've done 1 HIIT session, maybe 2 HIIT sessions since March. Yeah, and even then they're not HIIT like I used to do. They were like just timed circuits, if you like. And the thing is it wasn't restorative stretching yoga, it was fast-paced yoga, so I felt like I was doing a workout, but I was fueled. And I think that's the main thing and the main misconception, is that people think they need to completely change their workout schedule, which I do think a lot of us do. A lot of us are very extreme that are going through this journey, but a lot of it is energy in versus energy out, and the intensity. So if you can really reduce the intensity of your workouts, and kind of also look at the reasons behind your workouts. So when you reduce the intensity, you're keeping that body nice and calm. So yoga, you're helping keep nice and calm. Walking, you're keeping it nice and calm. If you're doing like body weight stuff, that's fine, but take the intensity out of it. So no like jumping, that kind of thing, where your heart rate and your cortisol gets really, really high up. And then around that, look at why you're exercising. Are you doing this to help your recovery? Are you doing this to help your mental health, or are you doing this for calorie burn? Having that psychological reason of why you're exercising sorted as well, I think is really important. And then on top of that is fueling for that exercise. So like if you are going to do a workout, whether that's yoga or a walk, you make sure you're eating carbs before it and carbs after it, and you're fueled around it. You're eating enough throughout the day, not saving all your food for the evening. So you're able to enjoy movement knowing that you are replenishing your body for it. And also remembering that walking and yoga is still movement, and you still need to fuel for that. I feel like that's a big tangent, isn't it? Now I'm recovered. So I started working with Reedy in the March, had my first period in the July, had 3, but then was working like 16, 17 hour days because I was working to become self-employed. And I started going back to the gym, and probably way too intensely, that I then didn't have for 2 periods. I was also ill as well quite a bit around then, which I just think I was overworking myself, which I'll put my hands up and say, like, yeah, I totally get that. And now I've had 2 periods. Going into 2021, I have decided to reintroduce some strength training 3 times a week. I go exercise 1 day, rest, exercise 1 day, 2 days rest, exercise 1 day. And that is really, really lightweight, and that is a program that I've written myself that is working around your cycle. So I am on at the minute. So the first day when I came on, I just did really light, only body weight movements, and then now I'm feeling really good and I'm feeling really strong that I'm actually doing weight bearing exercises, and then that changes throughout the weeks based on this program that I've written. I really, really want to share it with you. If you are interested in this kind of guide, then please either comment below or DM me. I don't know how you would often talk to me. My DMs are always open if you need any support on Instagram. But yeah, if you are interested in that, then please DM me, because it is something I'm looking to roll out and develop and do a little bit more PT coaching around periods and HA and stuff. So yeah, now my approach is that, and I do still walk. And on my rest days, I make sure I always do a walk anyway. I have done for years and years and years. So I would just walk on that day, and then I just make sure I'm fueling so much. And I've been talking for 15 minutes now. I only wanted to talk for 12 I mean. So yeah, I think that's kind of summed up and answered as many questions as I can on exercise. I do a lot of Ask Me a Question too, so if you want to know a bit more about my journey with HA over on Instagram, make sure you're following me there. And I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my YouTube, and maybe sharing it to some people that maybe you think might need it, because it really helps me get my message out there. And I'll see you on my next one.